Namrata, sir has joined, so we can start. Sushant?
Okay, madam. A very good afternoon to one and all.
This meeting is being recorded.
Mr. Anjani Prasad, Managing Director for India, Nepal and Sri Lanka, Archroma Management LLC, Switzerland. Honorable Vice Chancellor, Sri Vaishnav Vidyapit Vishwavidyalaya, Indore, Dr. Upinder Dhar. Respected Chairperson of the Center of Excellence in Sustainable Development, Dr. Santosh Dhar. Respected Directors, HOIs, HODs of constituent institutions of SDG, Member Secretary of Center, Dr. Namrata Jain, guests, member of CESD team, participants of webinar, dear colleagues, and my dear students. A warm welcome to webinar on sustainable textile processing for SDG 15 live on land, organized on the occasion of 3rd Foundation Day of Center. The Center of Excellence in Sustainable Development was established on July 23, 2019, and today we are happy to celebrate 3 glorious years of Center. I wish everyone happy Foundation Day. To mark the beginning of the celebration, I request technical team for virtual lamp lighting for seeking blessings of Ma Saraswati.
शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणं आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणं आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः.
Thank you, sir. Today we are happy to have with us Mr. Anjani Prasad as the chief guest on the occasion of Foundation Day of Center. I request Honorable Vice Chancellor Dr. Upinder Dhar and respected Chairperson Dr. Santosh Dhar to welcome Mr. Prasad virtually. I request technical team to please play the video. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Center of Excellence in Sustainable Development was established to contribute meaningfully towards attainment of sustainable development goals. To know more about the center and the activities conducted in last 3 years, I invite respected Chairperson of the center, Dr. Santosh Dhar, for our remarks. Please, madam.
The guest speaker on the occasion, Mr. Anjani Prasad, a seasoned textile expert, Honorable Vice Chancellor of the University, Dr. Upinder Dhar, HOIs, HODs of the constituent institutes of the university, other dignitaries, members of Center of Excellence in Sustainable Development, faculty, members, and the students present here, a warm welcome to the celebration of the Foundation Day and completing of 3 glorious years of Center of Excellence in Sustainable Development. At the outset, I would like to congratulate all members of the Center of Excellence in Sustainable Development for their efforts put in over the last 3 years that has resulted in the accomplishment of many goals set by the Center for its contribution towards SDGs. Today, we see poverty, hunger, environmental problems, inequality, disparity of opportunities, gender health threats, depletion of resources, deterioration of climate and the environment. We are witnessing the greatest challenge of climate change. NASA scientists have found the recent global temperature to be the hottest in the last 2000 years. The present challenging scenario calls for collective efforts in the pursuit of sustainable development in the context of people, planet, and prosperity. Realizing the need and urgency, Shri Vaishnav Vidyapith Vishwavidyalaya established Center of Excellence in Sustainable Development on July 23, 2019. Since then, the center has taken several initiatives for the welfare of society at large. The first initiative taken by the center was the proper channelization of electronic waste generated by the university. Center of Excellence in Sustainable Development disposed of 2.2 tons of electronic waste of university with a registered company of electronic waste rather than giving it to the scrap dealer. The center initiated an awareness drive, Say No to Plastic, and ensures not to use single-use plastic during the events hosted by the university. In every event, special emphasis is laid on minimum waste generation. An awareness campaign on #BagYourReusable was coordinated by the center in collaboration with Indore Municipal Corporation to raise mass awareness about the hazards of plastics and to encourage people to carry and use possible eco-friendly alternatives such as steel glasses and spoons and bottles. The center celebrated Swachhta Pakhwada as per the guidelines of the University Grant Commission. During this celebration, a number of environmentalists, policymakers, and other stakeholders became part of the events. Mr. R.K. Gupta, Regional Head, Madhya Pradesh Pollution Control Board, Dr. D.K. Waghela, Senior Scientist and Regional Laboratory Head, Madhya Pradesh Pollution Control Board, and late Dr. Gunwat Joshi, former scientist, Madhya Pradesh Pollution Control Board, visited the campus and enlightened students on the various aspects pertaining to environmental pollution and the ways to combat them. The celebration was spread over 17 days, wherein a number of Swachhta and environment-related activities were undertaken, such as campus and hostel cleanliness drive, plantation of saplings, awareness-raising visit to solar power grid rooftop project at Shri Vaishnav Vidyapith Vishwavidyalaya, poster making competition on the theme of environment conservation, weeding out old and unimportant papers, speech competition on water conservation, slogan competition on forest conservation, and best out of the waste competition. Students of the university performed Nukkad Natak for primary and middle school students in Ringonia village with the objective to raise awareness among the young ones to minimize the use of single plastic and explaining them the significance of maintaining cleanliness and hygiene. A talk show on air pollution, its impact and control strategies was organized in order to raise awareness about the need of ensuring availability and sustainable management of water and sanitation for all. A webinar on Sustainable Development Goal 6, Clean Water and Sanitation, was organized by the center. The resource persons for the webinar were Professor Rajendra Kumar V. Saraf and Mr. Jitendra Vyas. Center also celebrates World Environment Day as per the prescribed themes each year. In one such event, Dr. Rakesh Kumar, Council of Scientific and Industrial Research, New Delhi, addressed the gathering on ecosystem restoration for good health and well-being. Last year, Foundation Day was celebrated by raising awareness towards management of biomedical waste for good health and well-being. The resource person for the session was Saeed Asad Ali Warsi. The center celebrated Earth Day by organizing debate and poster making competitions. Padma Shri Janak Palta McGilligan visited the center and delivered talk on the use of solar energy for sustainable development. Two of our students, Khushi Sharma and Ayushi Jain, participated and won in national level competitions organized by IIM, WISEC, the Business School, Vishakhapatnam on the occasion of International Ozone Day. The center organizes memorial oration by Padma awardees in the fond memory of great environmental warrior, Sri Sundarlal Bhogna. The speaker for the first oration was Padma Bhushan Dr. Anil Prakash Joshi. Second oration was given by Padma Shri Shyam Sundar Paliwalji. In one of the recent events, Padma Shri Mahesh Sharma, founder Shiv Ganga Samgara Gram Vikas Sanstha Java, highlighted the need of conserving water for sustainable development. The center organized a 3-day online training program in collaboration with National Institute of Disaster Management, Ministry of Home Affairs, Government of India, New Delhi, wherein Dr. Anil Gupta, head ECDRM division, and other dignitaries of national repute delivered useful sessions attended by more than 600 participants across the country. Center, in collaboration with Isha Foundation, raised awareness among youth regarding the need for soil conservation. A bridge making competition was also organized, emphasizing the aesthetic and sustainability aspect of bridges, where the students use popsicle sticks to build the bridges. Agriculture plays an important role in addressing the needs of the growing population. In order to raise awareness, a session on the importance of native seeds in sustainable agriculture was delivered by Dr. Vandana Shiva. The center, in collaboration with Rotary Club, participated in the plantation drive in Dharampuri, Java. Honorable Vice Chancellor of the University, Dr. Upender Dhar, along with the chairperson of the center, Dr. Santosh Dhar, visited the tribal area near Java and donated 100 medicinal plants to the tribals for plantation around their houses. This was the brief of the activities the center has organized in its 3 years of existence. In line with these activities, today we have Mr. Anjani Prasad, a seasoned textile expert who will be sharing his expertise on sustainable textile processing for SDG 15, that is life on land. I once again congratulate all the members and hope that the team in the coming years would perform with the same team spirit and enthusiasm towards the accomplishment of sustainable development goals. Thank you very much. Over to Shushant Naik. Shushant. Shushant.
It appears that there is some network problem.
Yeah, he's not able to.
I can start.
Thank you, ma'am. The team assures you that the center will be moving ahead on the path of the sustainable development goals. May I now request the technical team to kindly play the video of Center of Excellence in Sustainable Development to show the kind of activities the center has completed since last 3 years. Over to technical team, please.
मैम टेक्निकल टीम के वहां पर कुछ इशू लगता है.
So we can start. We can start with a welcome address of Dr. Dhar.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
There is some network lag now.
Madam, please invite Honorable Vice Chancellor, sir.
Okay, good afternoon to all of you. At the outset, I would like to welcome our guest, Mr. Anjani Prasad, on this special occasion. We had established the Center of Excellence in Sustainable Development 3 years back. We were back in 2019 with an intent to draw the attention of all stakeholders to the 17 Sustainable Development Goals set by the United Nations. One of the major stakeholders is students in the case of a university. The intention was to increase awareness among the students about the concerns which all of us have, and in fact, not only in India, but around the world. Sustainable Development Goals have touched upon various dimensions and domains of life, so that significant attention would be paid to these domains. Now, as we know, these Sustainable Development Goals were set up in 2015, and 15 years were given for accomplishing them. That means by 2030, all of us are expected to achieve these goals. Now, the concern is that if we review that where do we stand today, after completing 7 years, that means almost 50% of the period, where do we stand today? Have we at least achieved 50% of the goals? Perhaps not. Therefore, we need to speed up and do whatever best we can do at individual level, group level, organizational level. That is what is required to be done. I'm happy that our Center of Excellence in Sustainable Development has been organizing various activities, various programs to increase awareness amongst students and other stakeholders. It has completed 3 days, but now if you call it Foundation Day, then it is 4th Foundation Day, not 3rd. When we say Foundation Day, so first year's day will also be counted. It is the 4th Foundation Day in that sense. So I compliment all those who are associated with the Center of Excellence, and I'm sure that you would continue doing good work and generating awareness about the concerns that the whole world has. We have a very eminent guest today who has been working in the area of textile. See, textile is very, very important dimension, very important area. And it has to play a very significant role so far as the sustainable development is concerned. Today, we talk about sustainable textiles. So we will be very happy to listen to the guest, Dr. Anjani Prasad today, and then at the same time feel inspired and keep on doing what we have been doing. In fact, with more speed, more frequency. So with these words, I welcome the guest and all of you to this 4th Foundation Day program. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Can I take over?
I think yes, you can start. There is no need to fall in the formalities. Please go ahead.
Okay. Anyone wants to look at my profile, they can Google it. There's not a problem. I'm really happy to be here. Listening to Dr. Santosh.
Thank you, sir.
And it is wonderful to see that some institutes are taking this, a step forward to educate and to train on these 17 sustainable goals, which is very important. And what I see moving around the industry, I don't see many people understand it properly. And there is a big problem of understanding at the moment. And maybe during my presentation, I'll also show you, and you'll be shocked to hear the numbers of reality on the front of this area of textiles and what's happening in the value chain end of the day. And thanks, Vice Chancellor, Dr. Upendra Dhar, and I'm really happy that to be here, and hope I can share my screen, and then I can start my presentation and maybe a brief introduction of what Archroma is, and this will help you to understand where we come from and what is the genesis of this whole story. So, can you all see the screen?
Yes, it is visible.
Okay.
Please go ahead.
Okay, and it is full on the screen, or I have to change a bit there?
You can put it on a slideshow.
Yeah, that's a slideshow task. not used to Zoom so much, so sorry for it. I'm more used to the Teams part all over. But can we live with this at the moment? Then I will see where I don't see the button of the slideshow here.
Sir, it is there in the bottom row, fifth icon.
Yeah. Bottom row, I don't see it anything. But there is one dot there. Okay, this one. Is it there now?
Yes, sir. Please come to the first slide.
Okay. Now, thanks for it. When I see this whole story of sustainability in textile processing, I mean, Alcroma is quite a big, experience all over. Huh? And when you look at this whole story and genesis of Alcroma, we were Sandoz. I mean, a lot of companies know Sandoz very well. It was a pharmaceutical company named in that area more strongly. And then we had this chemical part and the dyes part also there. So this company is now since 1886 existing, and then 1995 it became Clariant, and then it acquired Herx. This is another major multinational, and then it became a bigger part of Clariant. And then we were into textiles, paper, emulsions. Emulsions is mainly for constructions, paint, and many other industries and adhesives, which is there. And then we acquired also, after becoming Alcroma, which is basically an SK Capital Group, we became even bigger by these three acquisitions. And then we took on Hemdomun, which is mainly into the automotive area with high life fast and dies. And then also for the acquisition of the BSF, this also became very big part. And then we also acquired another BSF entity into the optical brightener field, for mainly for detergent area. So we have a full gamut of chemistries to offer with 5 multinationals inside one. And we have headquarters in Switzerland, and owners are at the moment in US. And it's a part of a big group. When you look at this, so many companies are there within the group.
Sorry for the interruption. Actually, the slides are not visible. This is very, minimal. We are not able to read the slides. Yes, now it's okay. Now it's okay. Now it's okay.
Okay, thank you. So this is a part of 85,000 crores group. At the moment, this company is around 14,000 crores in terms of turnover. And when you look at now going forward in textile value chain, you can see the number of fibers which are there. There are various kinds of fibers which are there. We need to understand, some coming from the natural route, some coming from the man-made route. Now, both we need to weigh properly, because everything has got a different end use. Some natural ones come from the animal source, and some come from the vegetable source. And then you get the various new fibers also, which are more now with linen, with flax coming up, which is also sustainable to an extent. And then wool has got its own properties, mainly on soil burial and also on the biodegradability. Is among one of the best fibers when you look at in terms of the fiber part. The other man-made fibers are also very important, which is in the range of artificial fibers, which is coming from caprolactam, viscose, modal, and triacetates, and a lot of other protein fibers and tensile. You can see all these names around. And you have this various organic fibers from polyester to polyethylene to polypropylene, polyurethanes. These are all very much used in terms of various applications of products, and also on the lamination industry. You will find that, and later on you will see this polymer is going to be the major part into the 3D printing, which is going to be even more sustainable than to go into all this various aspects of value chain of fiber, spinning, weaving, processing. Now the latest is 3D printing. We don't need any of these. Just need the polymer, put in the coloration there, print the article which you want to, and this research is on in a big way. When you look at the evolution of the fiber from a tree where the ancient human being was there, it went into the looms, and then the fiber in the mill stage, then the textile designers took over, and after that, the textile industry became very much more into the fashion area. As we progressed, the functionality became very important. The technical textiles became very important. The organic textile becoming also important to understand. And then the sustainable part took on mainly into the nanotextiles, hot melt, and also the biofilms. And now we look at 3D printing as the future of the whole value, development of the textiles when you look at. Currently, the value chain is this. When you look at this, we are in the brown area, which is the chemical industry, but then we have to really understand the synthetic fiber industry, the natural fiber industry, and the textile mills, and the various service provider and the machine manufacturers, because everyone in the value chain is important for sustainability. So how do you prepare the fiber? How do you prepare the spinning processes, and also the garmenting and all these lead times around the world in terms of movement of goods? That is also causing a lot of global warming in terms of carbon footprints, which is also an important factor. End of the day, whatever we start doing, it we need to be aware that what it will end with in terms of disposal and recycling. This is going to be another factor which we need to look at, that whether these fibers and all the processes which you add in between, if you add say cotton and then you do a reactive dyeing, now in the reactive dyeing you can never strip this reactive dyeing, and then in the recycling process it causes a problem end of the day. So what kind of dye stuff to use is becoming a challenge now. What kind of resins to use, because resin also has to be stripped at the end of the day. Reactive dyes can never be stripped because it has a covalent bond. So we are promoting more of sulfurs because that is what it can be stripped. So the whole teaching around this whole value chain has to change. And then we need to look at what at the end of the value chain we are going to spoil in terms of the waste which is going to be generated after the textile garments are being used. And then you look at now how the textile industry is there. There's a lot of Greenpeace camping, and also all the dye chemical producers dumping into the rivers the waste stream, and you can see the dye stream. I was visiting in the past, maybe about 25, 30 years back, even in Tirupur or in the Ahmedabad belt, you used to have coconut water which was colored. And you can imagine the kind of pollution in the soil which was there, that even the coloration by the now normal filtration process, which is the most robust in terms of natural filtration of getting a coconut water from the soil, this was not able to withstand. The color was still coming, and now you see a lot of difference now where all these measures are taken. A lot of companies have been asked to shut their factories because they are not able to run it in a proper way. Now, these are the 17 sustainable goals, which are very critical, and I hope that everyone is aware. There's a lot of buzz around biodiversity, circularity, digitalization, diversity and inclusion, fair labor practices, and all these words around wastewater management. So this is all, everyone is working towards it. But how many of us really understand how to take it forward? A part of it can be done in the mills and also in the value chain. Part of the thing will be in terms of economical development and corporate social responsibility. So both has to gel together in terms of generating the funds through a proper safe operations, and also to look at what's happening with the society around us, whether they're getting the right water to eat, they have the right sanitation, and then the job appointment, and the gender equality, everything has to be balanced. And a lot of companies have KPIs around it. And this is not taught well in terms of what could be the real KPIs behind each element of the value chain. And I would insist that when you all are teaching, you need to really develop some kind of a tool where you can, every step in the value chain, you need to define the kind of a KPIs around this phenomenon. And what can be done by that particular step, and what can be done by maybe by outside in terms of the right working conditions, or quality of education, and various other things which are important to take this whole mission forward. The reality which I wanted to tell you is that only 2% of the factories are really certified to be safe. And 1 out of 3 garments are made in China, and sustainable market is less than 1%. So the problem is that the brands doesn't pay for sustainability. And that is the major part. That means the consumer anyway have to be paid. For example, now one denim which is costing say $100, if you want to make it sustainable fully, someone has to pay $140. And this $40, no one wants to pay. And in the economic world, this is becoming the biggest crisis now. And I don't know how many of you have seen this movie called True Cost.
Sir, excuse me, actually slides are not moving. Would you please change the slide?
Have changed now. But my end is changed. I don't know, you're seeing it yourself, maybe on the internet and all has to be perfect there. Everyone sees it or?
No, sir, it's not changing.
We are seeing the old slide only, sir. It has not changed.
Slide 3 is visible to us.
Slide 3?
Yes, sir.
No,
Now it's
it is
moving.
visible. Fashion industry, it has come, sir.
Okay, now I'll keep it visibly. It's much
Yes.
better so that you all can at least have a look where I am now coming from. I was here in terms of telling you about 2% of the factories are only certified, and less than 1% is sustainable. And there is a problem that where we need to understand how we can build in sustainability. Now, when you look at the problems around the consumer, 60% of the woman's wardrobe are never used. They buy a lot, but only 40% they use it. And for the male, it's about 45%, which is actually being not used. This means what? That if you buy more, then what are you doing with the sustainability? So that's becoming a big problem. There are 5 fashion seasons, and all the brands like Zara and everyone come out with every time a new fashion and changing. So it's the fast fashion is taken up very strongly with the consumers. The organic cotton not fully in the process because at the end of the day, after the organic cotton, you are going to put synthetic chemicals there or dyestuff. So it doesn't remain really organic at the end of the value chain. And that is another thing which we need to look at, whether we have a full process which can become organic. And also processes and synthetic fibers are also to be really looked at because that's another part of the problem. Now, there are about 150 billion garments every year made, and out of that, major is polyester. And then, if you have micro polyester and also the fibers which you wash it out, that comes into the value chain, and that has to be also looked at as one of the critical elements in terms of the life cycle. The real facts of is that high water usage, that is about 2,248 liters for a t-shirt to be made from the cotton which is used. Now you can imagine how much of water is being consumed in this industry. If you don't preserve, then it is a problem. I told about the microplastics. There's another big problem in the industry is that in the textile industry is responsible for about 8 to 10% of the greenhouse emissions. And this is a challenge. Recycling is becoming a problem, which I was saying, that with resins and reactive dyes, because they react with the cellulose and they don't come out. Only the chromophore can be destroyed by stripping, but it doesn't come out. Now, textile waste account for about 93 metric tons annually to landfill. And this landfilling is becoming a big pain now with all the synthetic dyes on it and all the harmful elements still onto the garments. And to degrade that over the years is going to be a big challenge. Now, this part of this whole fast fashion is really putting a lot of pressure on the water management. And where we need to balance it is very important in terms of the production levels. And in order to reach this global warming targets, which is very critical, 2030 2030 or 2040, whatever we say, the fossil fuel will not be available, and then we are looking at all the renewable energy, which is also getting into a painful exercise, because you're talking about what now nuclear, for example, we're talking about windmills, where also a lot of minerals are being used, like alumina and lithium, for example. Batteries is all about lithium and various other metals, and then solar panels is all about silica and also about silver there. So all this renewable energies now, which we are trying to now work out, it's not easy to take care of that, because that also has its own problem in terms of sustainability, because you are actually taking the minerals out, and after some time, with this one periodic table, you will not find many elements visible there after some years, and that's some of these things which has medicinal values and other important elements. Of the metal is there, that will not be there, and you are using it for energy, at the end of the day. Now, the world market is around this 800, 750, I would say, billion market of apparel, where it's more ruled by the women, which is 55%, and men 35%, and the kids there. Now, the value chain that has got is nearly 13% is denim, and the fast fashion is also catching up strongly with the retail taking out the major part of the whole business now. And everyone is trying to place themselves there. You can see for every fast fashion, Zara leads it, Uniqlo leads it, Gap is leading. Sportswear is all about Adidas, Reebok, but all working on performance and price. So when the price is low, also you can see that there may be the angle on sustainability could be also a big hindrance. So we need to really look at what are the customers looking at. And denim is mostly about the highest value you get into diesel in terms of performance and value. There are also mild, brands like Marks Spencer and Esprit, which plays the more volume game. They don't play the high game. So the performance and the price is going to be a challenge now also in sustainability. Now, denim, you can see that there are various elements to sustainability. Every one is still working on the cost, which is important, and that doesn't give us the benefit. Everyone doesn't buy for sustainability. Though people are using recycling of cotton, they want recycled cotton be used in the whole process, and that is important there. Now we have come out with a lot of systems and approaches to in order to work on the processes for more sustainable effects. And you can see when you Google it out, alchroma.systems, and for the education it will be also good to look at when you look at which market sectors and which production processes and which substrates, you can find a lot of processes which are there, which are sustainable. And this can help you when you Google it to really get into the details of more processes which are in offering in. This has been described in very much detail, each element of it. Now, what we need to do? So the important is that we need to work on the supply chain. So we are having yarn produced at one part, and then you have the weaving done in another part, or spinning done in another part, processing done, and garmenting, you're sending it out to Bangladesh or Vietnam and taking it back in. So this transition is becoming a problem, and we have to really look at more cluster formation, which Tirupur has done very well. They have the whole value chain at one place. And if you don't have this textile parks or integrated parks, then the sustainability angle doesn't come in, mainly because people need wastewater to treat. We need also the right air to be there and away from the society. The control mechanism has to be there. Every element has to be available within the cluster so that you don't have to ship around too much. And this can really help. Now, other thing is that a lot of people are not able to create value for branding and garmenting, and that's big another scope. There are colleges which teach maybe a processing, but then it doesn't take you after the garmenting or at the garmenting stage and taking it forward into marketing. This angle is very important to teach because people are just playing a part of the value chain and they're making only a part of the margin. So that if we make more value here in India, then we can play around the sustainability cause much strongly. And we have there's a lot of emphasis to make the cotton or the clothing more durable. and the other phenomenon is to use less and buy less. This can change the whole dynamics, and going in for natural fabrics and plant-based technologies, and with fruits and vegetables and coloration, and a lot of chemicals can be extracted, and there are a lot of people working around this. But this is also limited because the scalability is again an issue which we need to work on. Zero discharge is one part of the story, which in terms of safe operations, we need to look at also in terms of safe chemicals to use, and then low energy processes, and then also to reduce the cotton losses. Now, what happens that suppose knitwear, 4% of the cotton is just lost into the wastewater because they have not spinning it properly, or they have a low twist, and then the yarn is more open, and then it loses from the fabric, and then it is lost into the wastewater. And just to recover that, then and it goes on for as a solid waste in the wastewater. And then we need to also improve the manufacturing conditions in terms of fashion designs, in terms of looking at every fashion designers have to understand what is the carbon footprint. And I don't think they're aware. They're only looking at design. They don't know what colors and what fabrics they're using, which are sustainable. So this angle is not there. There are hundreds and hundreds of designers around, but many of them not very clear what to do. Um, then what dyes and chemicals to use. There is a lot of knowledge to be shared there. Then also this whole fiber to garment cycle and supply chain, this has to be optimized. The potential pollution coming out of the toxic dyes and chemicals during landfill is another part of the problem which you see. And awareness is going to be important. And I would ask you, each of you, to see this video, which is there on the YouTube from Andrew Morgan, the movie called True Cost. And this will show you the real dimensions of the problem in the textile industry, why cost overtakes sustainability. And there is a lot of information there, and it's quite an emotional video to watch, but it's must for everyone. It can open the eyes. It's one of the best videos made, or the movies made on textiles, sustainability. Reuse, and recycle phenomenon we need to work on. Human rights is always violated into the whole process. There are also child labor. We need to take care, safe working conditions in order to meet the 17 sustainable goals. Training is important part of to complete the value chain, and there are not too many training institutes. One of the big topics will also be safety. How do you make the operations very safe? And this, you can see hundreds of accidents also in the chemical factory, and fire hazards, and a lot of information on this has to be taken on. Now, earth colors is one thing which we have launched. You can Google and see a lot of YouTube videos which we have done. What we have done is that we have collected from the waste, a lot of things around the leaves and the shell of the nuts, and we have collected that and made into dye stuff. And this is kind of a biosynthesis, and this a lot of brands like it. And this is more sustainable in a way, and you can see these colors which can come out. And then this is the kind of KPI which I was talking about, that every company and every angle you need to look at the safety part, the product stewardship part in terms of the various MRSL, the RSLs, and the BOD, COD, and bioelimination topics. What is the carbon emissions? What is this greenhouse gas part there? What is the landfill going on in the from each industry? How much of energy, water, or soil waste you can save per ton or per kilo produced? And how we make the things more efficient into a valuable collections. Diversity and inclusion becomes very, very critical part. The women power, manpower, and the management, and the ratio of the male to female in terms of gender equality, training, talent development, CSR will be important. Safe operations, as I said, is important, that we need to have a lot of training. And I don't see many colleges talking about safety as a topic. And safety is a big topic when you look at in terms of safe operations. We need to think over it. all the certifications which are around, and there is a lot of companies making a lot of money. I'm totally against this because I always say that why can't we have one certification, then you have this hundreds of certifications. Um, like in pharmaceutical, you have this FDA or pharmacopoeia, they don't require too many certifications at the end of the day. So one body rules it globally, then why don't we do it also in textiles? And this is where we need to take the things forward. I mean, still some of these banned substances which are still used, like APO, like the AOX, like the VOCs, are still a big problem in the industry. And then the bad understanding about BOD, COD, and these two are people still know it, but people don't understand biodegradability. People don't understand the OECD method of 28 days by which you can degrade naturally. This is not understood. And this is where we need to also look at how do we check these things in terms of the waste. So, end of the day, what is important is that we need to come out with safe operations. You need to have safe purchases, safe processes, safe disposal, and then safe to the consumer. So at every stage, we need to look at what steps we can do, and we are helping a lot of industries in this area in order to bring in the sustainable angle towards safe purchase processes, disposal ecology, and then what is safe to the consumers. Also important is that what is that how is the efficiency working in the mills in order to save. So process control becomes important, and knowledge about process audit becomes important. This process calculations in terms of savings becomes important. This is another topic which is not taught in the colleges in terms of how to calculate the steam saving, how to calculate water saving, what are the power consumptions of different machines, and how do we improve the productivity, for example, and what are the good management practices, either supply chain management, stock management, or the efficiency of the plant. So this is a kind of still a management topic, but it's very essential for someone who comes out of the college and has some training and work in this direction. The value enhancement is very critical to move forward because you need a lot of creation of the value to be paid more. Because if you sell the same thing and very commodity, so there has to be a lot of innovation. And when I look at colleges in all of India, I was looking at the chemical engineering colleges. I went to IIT Mumbai, 1,500 patents lying in the drawers, which has not been open up for outside world. So there's a big need for creating a kind of an innovation platform where the patents can be put and it can be tradable. And where the industry can look at any area. If you are running a sustainability center, then a lot of work would have been done, and that could also bring in terms of consultancy a model to the industry to help them to be more sustainable and to create more value out of it. This is important. Now, to end my talk, it's important that we all have the sustainability commitments with respect to KPIs. The acceleration of the industry will only happen when we all adapt and change, and then only we can survive. Because if you don't do this adoption or change the things what we are, then we will not be too long there to support this global warming. Now, if 1.5 degrees goes up in Mumbai, the whole of Mumbai will be in water. So that's where we are at the moment. And you can see how much of floods and storms and various elements of heat waves, say in Europe, catching up, where there is even water not allowed in Italy to be given to the salons for even hair wash. So you can see we are going into a very, very tough situation all over the world, apart from these gas problems. And then we need to reduce our seasonalities. Every season we want to wear something. Why can't we have maybe one season? So one season there. This could be an innovation and another. And look at all things which we do is more into circularity model, so that we can make life around us very sustainable. So with this word, I would like to end my talk, and I would be very open to questions, because that's what I would be very interested to discuss. If there are some questions around, and someone can help me if there is something coming on the platform, so that I can take it up. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Your inputs are valuable. This will help the audience to understand about sustainable textile processing. Now I invite Member Secretary of the Center, Dr. Namrata Jain, to propose vote of thanks.
सर एक दो क्वेश्चन हो जान दीजिए नायक सर.
Thank you, Sushant sir.
नायक सर
Respected chief guest on the occasion,
कुछ क्वेश्चन
Mr.
हो जान
Anjani
दें.
Prasad,
3 questions are there.
Managing Director for India, Nepal and Sri Lanka, Arcuna Management LLC, Switzerland. Honorable Vice Chancellor Shri Vaishnav Vidyapeeth Vishwavidyalaya, Dr. Upinder Dhar, respected Chairperson of the Center of Excellence in Sustainable Development, Dr. Santosh Dhar, respected Directors, HOIs, HODs of constituent institutions of university, guests in the audience, dear colleagues and my dear students. I, on behalf of Center of Excellence in Sustainable Development Fraternity, thank Mr. Prasad for gracing the occasion with his presence and thought-provoking address on sustainable textile processing. Sir, your talk was particularly appropriate at this time when the entire world is on its way of finding the means to achieve sustainable development. No words of gratitude can suffice for the kind guidance Center is receiving from Honorable Vice Chancellor Dr. Upinder Dhar and respected Chairperson of the Center, Madam Dhar, for executing the event and conducting different sort of activities. My special thanks are due for respected head of the institutes and departments and faculty members for extending cooperation in all the activities of the center. I would be feeling in my duties if I would not give special thanks to wonderful team of CSD. I thank each and every member of the center for the mutual understanding, coordination and cooperation the members are extending since last 3 years. Lots of thanks to the technical team, audience, volunteers for making it convenient to attend the webinar. Once again, thanks to one and all, and we hope, sir, Anjani sir, that in future events too, you will be coming to the university campus. Thank you to one and all.
Thank you. I was expecting any questions.
हाँ, नम्रता मैडम मैं कुछ पूछना चाहता था सर से. सर बहुत अच्छा लेक्चर रहा आपका ज्ञानवर्धक. इसमें खासतौर से सस्टेनेबल टेक्सटाइल के बारे में. इसमें आपने बताया सेफ केमिकल यूज करेंगे, नो एनर्जी प्रोसेस वी विल यूज. तो हाउ टू रिड्यूस द कॉटन लॉस, ये समझ में नहीं आया.
Cotton loss is becoming a problem because you need to go. What they are doing for cotton, a lot of caustics are used, and a lot of peroxide is used. Frictions is very high, especially in soft flow machines. So either you go for continuous, that is one part of the operations. Second is to have maybe more of enzymatic treatments. Bioscouring will become a very, very important element going forward, using a biotechnology where it can just act on what it has to and doesn't affect the fiber. Caustic is used to really take the saponification of the oil from the cotton to take it out. And in this process, you are using high temperature and high friction. And this also affects the cotton. So I feel biotechnology can help in shorter processes. If you have longer process, you lose more cotton. So if you have shorter processes, then you can be saving more. This can help you.
One more thing. आपने कहा make cloth more durable, use less, buy less. तो ये चीज इंडस्ट्री को तो इफेक्ट नहीं करेगी, उनके प्रॉफिट को और सारी चीजों को.
नहीं, अगर हमको देखो बिगर गोल क्या है, अगर वो देखना है, अगर हम लोग अगर कंज्यूम ही करते रह जाएंगे तो एनर्जी ज्यादा लगेगा जिसकी जरूरत नहीं है. आज फीमेल का देख लीजिए वार्डरोब को 60% कभी यूज नहीं होता, भर के रख देते हैं. अब वो यूज होने के बाद फाइनली वेस्ट में जा रहा है. तो वेस्ट को भी तो मैनेज करने का कॉस्ट लगता है. तो वही अगर चीजों को हम सस्टेनेबल चीजों के लिए यूज किया जाए, आप वो स्पेंड को आप कोई सस्टेनेबल या डोनेशन या CSR एक्टिविटी में डाल दोगे, तो मे बी वी कैन हैव मोर डेवलपमेंट्स अराउंड इंस्टेड ऑफ वेस्टिंग इट. And that is on the reuse part. That was very, very important. And the landfilling is the biggest pain now. 90% of our garments, end of the day, has to go for landfill. I don't know how many of you have visited a landfilling center. It's a painful place.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you to everyone. May I now please request everybody to please rise for the national anthem.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे
भारत माता की जय. Thank you everyone.
Thank you, everybody. We can leave now.